Children, we're going to read a new book and we're going to learn 3 new words. You guys excited? All right, so I'm going to say the words out loud first and you're going to repeat them, okay? Here we go. The first word is covered, nearby, and missing. Great job! Okay, let's get started with the book. So, the title of the book is called Curious George Goes to School. The authors and illustrators are Margret and H.A. Rays. If you didn't know what an author is the person that wrote the book. And the illustrator is the one that drew the pictures. So let's get started. You guys ready? Okay. It was open house at George's school. So the man with the yellow hat had come to school with George. I want to speak to your teacher, the man said. Wait for me, George, and don't get in trouble. George was standing in front of the art room. He opened the door and peeked in. Mr. Williams, the art teacher, was cleaning up. Hello, George, he said. My students will be coming by with their parents today to show them their work. The walls of the art room were covered with the students' paintings. Here's our first word. Covered. Covered is something that is everywhere on an object. There were paintings of dancers and farmers and racing car drivers and ice skaters. On one wall was a chart with the names of all the children. Each name had a star beside it except for Alice's name. Poor Alice, said Mr. Williams. She said she left her painting on my desk, but I can't find it. Here, George, why don't you paint a picture while you wait for your friend? George began to paint. Keep painting, George, said Mr. Williams. I'll be right back. And off he went. George kept painting, but it was starting to get very warm in the room. On a nearby table sat a big fan. That would cool him off. George turned it on. Here's another word. Nearby. Nearby is something close to you. But as soon as he did, the fan blew the paintings off the walls and all over the room. George, cried Mr. Williams, running into the room. Look what you've done. Mr. Williams turned off the fan. You better help me clean up, George, he said. George picked the papers up off the floor. Some were under Mr. Williams' desk. One was stuck between the desk and the wall. When George pulled it out, it was covered with dust, as if it had been there for a long time. Here's our word again. Covered. Again, covered is something that is everywhere on an object. It was a painting of a little girl riding a horse. That's Alice's missing painting, cried Mr. Williams. Now I can give Alice a star. Here's our last word, children. Missing. Missing is something that could not be found. When the paintings were all hanging on the walls again, the students and their parents arrived. There was Alice's painting, and there was George's painting right beside it. Now, Alice's name on the chart had a gold star next to it. Thank you for finding my painting, George, said Alice. I liked your painting too. You should have a gold star. agree, said Mr. Williams, and he gave George a big gold star. Man, I bet Curious George was so excited to get his big gold star. Wouldn't you? Me too. Okay, good job. Okay, so we're going to repeat these words again. Covered, nearby, and missing. Great job. Okay, so now I'm going to go back into the book and explain to you what these words mean so you can understand them better. So, the first word was covered. So, the sentence was, the walls of the art room were covered with the students' paintings. So again, covered is something that is everywhere on an object. So, the object in this case is the wall, and the paintings were on top of it. So the paintings were everywhere on the wall, so it covered the wall. And the other instance of where the word covered was used was here. When George pulled it out, it was covered with dust. So he found the painting, and there was dust everywhere on the painting, so it covered it. It covered the whole thing. So our other word is nearby. So where it said nearby was here. On a nearby table sat a big fan. So again, nearby is something that is close to you. So George saw the table, and it was close to him. It was near him. And that's where he saw the big fan. So the last word is missing. Good job. So where it says missing is here. That's Alice's missing painting, cried Mr. Williams. So again, missing is something that cannot be found. So in the beginning of the story, Mr. Williams couldn't find Alice's painting. So since he couldn't find it, that means that it was missing. It was gone. They couldn't find it. But, George, he found it. He found the missing painting, the one that was gone. So, those are all our words. So, now to summarize, the book is called Curious George Goes to School. The authors and illustrators are Margret and H.A. Rays. Okay, so now since we finished the book, I want you guys to talk to each other about the meaning of these words and how they relate to you. So, have you lost something? Is something missing? Who's nearby you? Who's close to you right now? And look around the room and see what is covered by something. So I really hope you enjoyed the book.